folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, how are you?
Sam Healey, hi.
And it's Christmas time, or Christmas is a while away, but this is the time to shop for Christmas. So we have some lists that we're doing this week of Christmas gift guides. The 12 games of Christmas, each of us has picked 4 games that we think fits that category. These games are games that are available at this point in time, or they will be available very shortly in a week or so. Today's list is stocking stuffers. Do you get games in your stockings?
I have before, yes, actually.
Yeah, every once in a while.
All right. Well, these are games that hopefully will fit in some sort of stocking. Here we go.
First one on our list is a game that I just recently played called Age of War. It's a really fast dice rolling game. Comes in a very small box. And you're trying to garner control over different castles in feudal Japan. And you roll these dice, and you're trying to get the right number of faces or the right kinds of faces for each one. All the different castles have different combinations that you have to roll. And whoever gets the most points at the end of the game wins by... each castle is worth a certain number of points. And then if you get a whole set of castles, you turn them over and they're worth more points. So it's a really fast, really simple game to teach. That's Age of War.
Yeah, if you like chucking dice, you'll really like this one.
Very nice. Now, if you like cards, I recommend Red 7, and especially if you got someone you want to get a gift for, and they're into games already, because this is a nice, interesting card game that, while still a filler, still a quick game, that I think gamers would enjoy. Very simple card game, ultimately, about making sure that at the end of every one of your turns, you are winning, and if you are not winning at the end of every one of your turns, well, you're eliminated. It's a game in which the cards are both a number, a color, and some sort of scoring condition. Really neat stuff, very quick, plays in about 10 minutes, so typically you'll shuffle up and play again. That is Red 7.
AEG has made several games that are called Love Letter. There's a lot of them. There's a small card game with just a few cards that you play with a group trying to outguess other people with the cards. There was Love Letter, Adventure Time Love Letter. Any of those would work fine as a stocking stuffer. The one I would recommend is Batman Love Letter, which even though it has a very odd name, I don't imagine Batman wrote too many things to Joker. It plays, I think, the best of the series. There's a tiny rules change in it to get tokens. I think it plays the fastest of the series, too. Now, if they don't like Batman, then there's other love letters. There's Adventure Time Love Letter, and I don't know, there's a lot of them. I think is the Lord of the Rings love letter out? Who knows?
That's right, The Hobbit.
The Hobbit love letter. So, anyhow, if you want to write some sort of love letter, but it's a cool, fun game for 2 to 4 players.
White Wizard Games came out with a new game a couple years ago called Star Realms, and now they've come up with another standalone expansion for Star Realms called Colony Wars. It's another entry point into the game. They do have other expansions for their original base set, but this is a standalone expansion. It's another entry point for a game, and it comes with brand new cards. So if you have somebody in your family that enjoys Star Realms already, this would be perfect for adding cards to their base, their original base set. But if you haven't tried Star Realms yet, it's a really fast 2-player deck building game that has a pretty neat aesthetic sci-fi film over it. And so I would try, if you can find, you should be able to find it here pretty soon, Star Realms Colony Wars. Brand new entry point, but also an expansion for the original base set.
Yeah, and I think both sets are equally easy to jump into, right?
Yes.
Now, if you want to combine several of these ideas, say you want a micro game, but you want it to be sci-fi and a 2-player game, then I recommend Eminent Domain Microcosm. And this is a game in the Eminent Domain line, but it's a tiny little box. It fits in your pocket easily. And it's sort of a deck-building, hand-drafting sort of game in which you are trying to score the most points, and the cards act as the way you score points, and the planets and such, and the actions you are taking. It's a neat little, it's a lot of game in this tiny little box, which is really what I love about it. So I recommend you check that one out if you want something pocket-sized, but with a little bit of a bite. That's Eminent Domain Microcosm.
Now, this is not necessarily pocket size. The next game, Tides of Time from Portal Games. The box is a little bigger, but the game itself is pretty small. There's like 12 cards in the game?
18 cards.
And it's a 2-player game, in which case you are essentially drafting the cards back and forth and then playing them in front of you, trying to get the best combo of cards. So you're taking cards that will help you, but also cards that hopefully won't help your opponent out. And even though there's only 18 cards, it plays well over and over and over again. So I'd recommend this one. Also, gorgeous art. Looks really good. And it feels different than pretty much all the other games on the list. That's Tides of Time.
The next game is a game that has actually, I've been enjoying this game for years and years and years, and that's No Thanks. They just came out with a new reprint for it, and while I'm not really on board with the new reprint, you can still find copies of the old version out there. It's the same game either way, it doesn't really matter. I'm just picky that way. But No Thanks is really cool. Thanks for nodding at that, I appreciate it. No Thanks is a game where you're trying to not get the cards that are out there being bid upon. You have these little red tiddlywinks, and you're putting them out if you don't want it, and then if you do want it, you take it, and all those tiddlywinks are actually negative points. You're trying to get the lowest score of the game, and that person wins. So it's a really fast game, probably takes around 15 to 20 minutes at most, and it's another one, like Z said earlier, one of those games where you shuffle up and go again. So that's No Thanks.
My next pick is one that I think is going to be good for the kids. This is Cardline, and this is the new set in the Cardline series of games, Cardline Dinosaurs. Just came out, so if you have a kid who is into dinosaurs, the new Jurassic World movie just came out not too long ago, so I know it's kind of in people's minds. Maybe the kids like that movie, and then I recommend you check this one out. It's a very simple card game about statistics and such, and they have very nice artwork. Plus, if they like this one, then you might be able to find another game in the Cardline series and sort of keep it fresh and alive for them. That is Cardline Dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that one. Welcome to the Dungeon is a very small card game in which players are working together to decide who is going to take an adventurer through a dungeon. Now, going through the dungeon takes about a minute, but you will win or lose. But the players are basically bidding who's going to take this guy through by either making the dungeon harder or taking away some of the hero's equipment. And after a while, you're like, nah, I can't. I don't think I can do it. Until one person will then attempt to run through and see if they succeed or not. So it's kind of like a push your luck where everyone's pushing it together until only one person remains, and then that person either lives or dies. And it's very funny, but also a lot of fun trying to see just when is the best moment to go through. That's Welcome to the Dungeon, and that's from Yellow.
Cool. Well, Avengers Age of Ultron just came out this year, and to boot, there is a Dice Masters version of Age of Ultron that's also coming available very, very soon, if it's not already. It is already, isn't it?
It is already.
Yeah. So you can go out and get it. And they have these little starter sets that are basically all you need to play the game. And now it's a basic version of the game, but you can still learn how to play the game. And then you can go back and buy the little 2-dice, 2-card packs.
Which are also great stocking stuffers.
Those are also great stocking stuffers, and they're only like $1 a piece. So you can buy a whole bunch of them and stuff that stocking full of them.
That's what I want.
So this is actually a really cool game to do this with. The starter set comes in almost a brick shape, so I think it would slide down into that stocking pretty well, and you can fill in the cracks with those gravity feed boosters. So that's Dice Masters Age of Ultron.
All right, my next choice is actually a game that I think is going to go over well at a party, at a game together with some friends, and it's basically a trivia game that plays very casually. The game's called Over/Under, Over/Under. And it comes in a really tiny box, about that big, a little square, and in it you are very simply going to pose a question without knowing the answer. They're all numerical answers. Everybody else will discuss and figure out if they'll pick a number basically they think the answer is, and then you answer whether you think everybody is over or under the real answer. Then you flip over the card, see if you are right or wrong. You might keep the card. If you're right, you keep doing that. It's a very casual game, which is what I like about it, and very portable. So you can take it along, to your get-together. That is Over/Under.
And finally, Sushi Go. If you like to draft cards, where you have a hand of cards, you pick one to keep and pass it around the table, and you're trying to get different sets, different kinds of sushi sets in front of you. And that's a very simple concept. Different cards give you points if you get 3 of them. Some cards give you points for every single one, but fewer points. Some cards are worth a lot, but you need different combos of those cards. But very easy and simple to get into. You can get this one up and running in a few minutes, and it will probably see a lot of play. Very popular both with kids, families, and adults. That's Sushi Go. And those are our stocking stuffers. We hope that you buy these and stick them in other people's, or buy them for yourself and stick them in your own stocking. Have you ever done that?
Yes.
No, I haven't, but
put
I have
something in your own
seen.
stocking?
I've done that.
I put candy in my own stocking. I'm like, what? Santa gave it to me. I must eat it.
I have to eat it now.
All right, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, thank you, everybody.
Sam Healey. See you on the flip side.
Check out our other Christmas videos.